The pricing and profit model for cruises is built on the idea of a cheap or reasonable upfront cost of a cruise, knowing that there will be extras that cruisers will pay for. Now, some are going to be worth it and others not so much. In this video, I'm going to share with you the most outrageous ripoffs that you'll want to avoid on your next cruise. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, there are some extras that do have value, but truthfully, a lot of things are just way overpriced, especially these days. Now, it's very subjective, but when we ask the LifeWell Cruise community, well, a lot of these ripoffs were confirmed. Now, of course, I don't expect you not to spend any money on extras on your cruise, but this video will help you to better plan, to budget, and to decide what is and isn't worth it for you. Now, I have 15 things, and a couple of them, I'll be honest, are my pet peeves. Maybe they'll be yours as well. Before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Number 1, specialty restaurants, extra cost on an extra cost. So I'm not only talking about specialty restaurants on a cruise, but what I've started to notice over the last couple of years, let me know if you're noticing this as well, is that when you go to that specialty restaurant and you're paying perhaps $50, sometimes more for that meal, you see a few things on the menu that actually have an additional cost. Now, maybe it's a lobster tail. Maybe it's a better cut of steak while you're already at the steakhouse. But I don't know about you, but I do think that when you're already going to a specialty restaurant, it's a little bit of a ripoff to be asked to pay more. Number 2, bottles of water. Now, I think we know when you go anywhere outside of, I guess, your local grocery store or Costco, most of the time bottles of water are going to be a little bit of a ripoff. But many cruisers say, you know what, when I'm ordering bottles of water to my cabin on a cruise, for instance, with Carnival, the price is 2 to 3 times what it was just a year ago. Now, I did look this up, and when you are buying a 12-pack of water bottles on Carnival, they're about 16 ounces per bottle, so not very big bottles. The price is almost $20 US for 12 bottles. Now, as well, in some beverage packages, water bottles are not even included. Now, I do have a little bit of a solution because I don't think, honestly, that we should be paying those costs. What you can simply do is bring a refillable water bottle, and then you can fill your bottle with safe to drink water on the ship. Number 3, everything in the cruise ship convenience store. Now, it just has to be said, I guess it's similar to when you go to a hotel. Anything that's in that little convenience store is going to be way higher priced for a smaller quantity of that item than if you would buy it on Amazon, at Walmart, bring it from home, etc. So it's really important. Bring all of your over-the-counter medication, bring your sunscreen, any of that stuff, because if you do need it on a cruise ship, you are going to be paying through the nose. Number 4, spa treatments. Now, cruisers love the spa, but they do not love the pricing, especially these days. So many people say the spa massages, they have gotten so expensive, and it seems like there are less promotions and sales that are really a good deal these days. So many cruisers are saying, you know what, instead of paying 2 to 3 times the price that I would pay on land, I am skipping the massages and spa treatments on a cruise. Sometimes maybe they are doing the thermal suite instead, which seems to be a pretty good value for people who want it, or they're even going off the cruise ship into the port and getting a massage there instead. Tips or cruise gratuities. Now, I'm warning you, this is going to be a little bit controversial, but more and more cruisers are saying with the cost of gratuities increasing, in some cases it's about $20 or getting close to $20 US per person per day for the gratuities. Some people are saying, you know what, these services are going down on a cruise, and what they're doing is instead they are removing the gratuities, and they are instead paying gratuities or tips directly to certain crew members, including the cabin attendant on board. Number 7, cruise Wi-Fi. Biggest ripoff ever, maybe. A lot of people say when you get on a cruise ship, Wi-Fi these days, for many people, and I know it's not for everybody, but many people say, you know what, it is a necessity. It is something we are used to. It is not something optional, and they do not like paying upwards of sometimes $28 per day per person for Wi-Fi, even when it's on sale. It really is outrageous. It can be $200 or more for a 7-day cruise. Now, even worse, some people say, you know what, when basic Wi-Fi is included on a cruise, or maybe you purchase basic Wi-Fi, you think you're getting on and you're having decent or good Wi-Fi. But then once you get on the cruise ship, you find out that you really have to upgrade to a premium package to just get the kind of Wi-Fi that you are used to on land. Number 5, professional photos. Now, longtime cruisers say, now that everything is digital, why is the price of a single photo so expensive? It can be between $20 is really the low end to $30 and sometimes more for one 5x7 or 8x10 photo. And these are digital photos. And as some people pointed out, in some cases, they are actually printed and then thrown out at the end. And many people said, you know what, I wish those photos were just less expensive, and they think that a lot more people would buy it. Now, there are a lot of people, and personally, I am one of them, that actually like the photo package on Princess Cruises. They have a bundle package called Princess Premier, and in that package, you get a photo package, but you also get unlimited digital downloads. So you can actually download those photos to your phone. And I have to say, I do think in that case that is something that is a good value, but let me know what you think down in the comments below. Number 7, I think this might be the worst one, especially for longtime cruisers, but it's paying for things that used to be free. Now, one of those things is the early embarkation programs on some cruise ships. Now, there can be a little bit of value in these, so if you like them, by all means buy them. But it used to be that you just showed up early, and in that case, you can board early, or maybe you had a suite, or maybe you had a higher loyalty status, and that is how you boarded early. Now you can simply buy an early boarding package like Faster to the Fun, or the Key, or Priority Access on Norwegian, and then you could get that, but for an extra cost. Getting better seats in the theater. Now, I said before, I like the Princess Premier package. I really do. But one of the things I'm really not that sure about is the reserved seating that comes with this. This means that if you want those like better seats, you actually have to buy an upgraded package. Now, there definitely is enough seating for everybody, but I don't know. Should that be something that costs extra on a cruise? Paying extra for movies on your stateroom TV? Now, I'm not talking about first run movies, but just movies that would be like on Netflix or maybe on your hotel TV. Paying extra as much as $20, this definitely seems like a ripoff to me. Some onboard attractions. Now, do you really want to go on a cruise and pay extra for things? I know personally I don't, but I do think that there are some extra activities that I guess I could understand why there's an extra cost. If there wasn't an extra cost, there would probably be a big lineup. But I am talking about things like the Bolt roller coaster on some Carnival ships. I'm talking about the racetrack on Norwegian Cruise Line. I'm talking about Crown's Edge on the Icon, and especially that one, I think, because it was so expensive. In fact, it was so expensive that people weren't really doing that activity, and they did lower it. Now, in addition to those bigger things, what about things like the arcade that if you have kids or teens, that can end up costing you a lot of extra money. So you definitely want to make sure you have a conversation with your children about that. And fitness classes. I know a lot of people say, you know what? I wish that those were all free. A corkage fee on a cruise. Now, you know some cruise lines will allow you to bring wine on a cruise, but if you bring it to the dining room or a restaurant, even if you open it yourself, they are going to charge you a corkage fee. Now, I definitely could understand if they simply said, if you bring it to the dining room, there is a fee, but they allow you to. And then even if you pour it yourself, you do have a corkage fee. This is not something new, but definitely is an extra charge that I kind of think is a little bit of a ripoff. Cruising solo and paying double. Solo cruisers, which by the way, are getting to be more and more of a trend. Solo travel is not just on the fringes anymore. And many people who travel on their own say, you know what, I do not like the idea of paying double, so a huge single supplement just to be able to go on a cruise. And they wish that cruise lines would offer more alternatives, more solo cabins, more deals so that they don't feel ripped off on a cruise. Number 12, the art auction. Now, this one always gets a lot of comments because some people really do think that the art auction is not only like a waste of money, but is a waste of time. But I know there are other people who love the art auction and are collectors. Personally, I like the art auction sometimes because I've learned a lot about the artists or techniques. So I kind of find it interesting, but I've inquired about buying some of the art and the shipping costs and, the other costs that are all part of the art auction or the art buying process does seem a little bit complicated to me, and I'm honestly never sure if I am getting ripped off. Pre-loved luxury purchases. Now, what I'm talking about is those vintage items that are sold on cruise ships. So the Rolexes, as an example, that are pre-loved or used, if you will, the luxury handbags that are sold and they're pre-loved or also used. Now, I don't know a lot about Rolexes, but I know a lot of people do say that those are definitely not worth it on a cruise ship. Let me know if you think otherwise down in the comments below. But I do know a little bit about handbags, and I've looked in those stores before, and the items sometimes are not in very good condition. So I think that that is the worst part of it. But as well, I've looked at the prices, and oftentimes I found that in the retail stores, they're actually the same or better, or maybe, around the same. So I don't think it's worth it. But beyond that, if you are interested in sort of pre-loved luxury handbag purchases, there are different places where you can get these items that I think they're just a better deal. For example, a few years ago, I bought a handbag on Fashion File. Obviously, this is not sponsored by Fashion File or anything, but I really did have a very good experience. I was able to see the condition of the bag. It came with a 30-day warranty. Like, I was able to have it delivered to my home, and really the condition was very, very good. And the price was better than anything that I've seen in those luxury vintage cruise ship stores. All right, moving on. The casino. Now, you know what they say, the house always wins. Now, I do know there are some people that are casino players, and there are certain benefits and perks to that. So definitely you do you, but otherwise, if you're playing for fun, expect that you're not going to be a winner on a cruise ship. Now, speaking of another place that you can lose your money, bingo and Deal or No Deal. Now, these games are a lot of fun, but people who play them say, you know what, it is a waste of money. The prizes aren't even really good, and it is just too expensive. But they also do share that they still love it and they would still play again on their next cruise. Room service. Now, I really should have said this in the section on things that used to be free, but I really do think this is a little bit of a ripoff because it was something that was included on cruises up until just a few years ago, and it's actually a little bit of my pet peeve because I really do still love it. And I have to say, it does even make a little bit of a difference when I am choosing a cruise. If there is a cruise line that does include that room service, I am more likely to choose it. Cruise line shore excursions, these are getting more expensive, it seems. And I'm not advocating for you not doing anything in the cruise ports of call. I think that's a very big part of cruising. But many people say the cost of the excursions can sometimes be more than the cost of the cruise. Now, if you do want to save money on your next cruise, I'm going to leave a video right here that you can watch next, but I'd love to hear from you. Please let me know what are some of the biggest ripoffs that you find on cruises right now. Please let me know down in the comments below. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.